Hi, I'm Jeff Foxworthy, and welcome to Gamekeeper Podcast. If you want to learn more about farming for wildlife and habitat management, then, buddy, you are in the right place. Join the Gamekeeper crew direct from Mossy Oak Land Enhancement Studio as they discuss the latest wildlife and habitat management practices, news, and, of course, hunting. There's no telling what you'll learn, but I'm going to tell you, I bet it's interesting. Enjoy.
All right, everybody. Well, welcome to the Mole Hole, to the Gamekeeper Studio in the Mossy Oak Land Enhancement Building. And we have another podcast in line for you today. And sitting across from me is Lannie Wallace.
Hello.
We got Dudley Phelps over here eating on some peanuts.
Hey, guys.
Got peanuts and peanut brittle.
I'm Bobby Cole. You know, oftentimes I forget to say that, so...
Oh, you're known. Your voice is
you
known
don't
worldwide.
You don't even have to say your name. That's how famous.
Oh, Bobby.
I don't know. And then Jason Cleveland's over here. And we've got, in the studio, we've got...
Our very own.
Yeah, we could, Cleveland, you could...
There he is.
Yeah.
In the house.
We've got
what up?
Jess Rayleigh. Yeah. From downtown.
From downtown, right down to Road.
Yeah.
Some people call him Jesse, but I never have.
I think his real name is Jesse. And then we called him Jess so much that he just accepted it.
Jesse Allen Rayleigh the third.
The third.
Wow, he is a king.
So Jess is a young guy that's been around here a long time. He went to Mississippi State, and while he was going to school, he worked at the nursery and then moved down here to the Moles building and helped us with biologic and Gamekeepers and native. And now he's downtown in the marketing department for Mossy Oak. So he's got a lot going on. He's a busy guy, and we're glad to have him here. The best thing about Jess, though, is Anna.
Oh, yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah. Agreed. And he's got two handsome young sons.
Yeah.
Very cute.
Harmon, Charles Allen.
Yeah, very cute. You need to say
Fun
hello.
kids.
Say hello. Say hello to them.
What you doing, boys?
Yep. All right. So let's move on.
Well, what about this new fixture up in the Gamekeeper studio here? Is this where'd this come from?
Well, Zach Randall sent us this. I don't know how to describe
Mr.
it.
Edge Boats.
Boat Daddy.
Yep.
Boat Daddy Zach.
It's you turn it on and it glows Gamekeeper green.
That's about the color of you when we kill a turkey and you don't. Bam.
Oh, yeah. Wait, Cleveland, whose side are you on here?
Can we use it like an on-air thing? Like you turn it on when we're having a podcast or videoing or something?
We could. It actually sets it kind of a nice mood in here.
It does.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah, thanks, Zach. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Go, Zach.
I had no idea that was coming, too.
Oh.
Yeah, he just surprised us with it.
Nice
So
little
he's
gift.
he's a nice guy.
He is.
And
dude, those boats,
they're really nice.
badass. Well, can I say that? Oh, yeah.
I think you can.
Okay.
They're that good.
Yeah. I mean, seriously, those boats see how big they are. And, and then to get in the water and see how little they draw, it's the most stable boat I think I've ever been in.
Mm-hmm. There's a lot of engineering and design in those things. And I think they ultimately were trying to make them really fast, weren't they?
I don't know. I think they're just taking you to the edge, man.
Ooh. That's a nice marketing phrase.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, anyway, thank you, Zach. And so what's going on locally around here?
Youth season opens this weekend. So I think everybody is kind of thinking about that a little bit if they're not bow hunting. If they have children, they're thinking about
this weather is fantastic.
It is.
I love it when it's cold in the mornings and by noon it's, warms up.
Mississippi.
And that's some great fishing weather too now, we can't forget.
Mm-hmm. You been fishing any?
I have not, but I think about
Since
it all
last
the time.
week.
Yeah, it's been about a week.
Not this week. He hadn't been this week. So I'm sure you got your bow all tuned up and you're going to climb in a nice big white oak this weekend.
And I will climb in a stand. Jesse's coming and bringing her bow, and she wants to hunt. So I'm sitting.
Her bow or her bow?
Her bow.
Oh,
Bobby, did you get a new piece of property? I seen where Jesse posted that. It said
the
Dad's
Ponderosa.
Didn't tell anybody about that.
I need, and I've had to talk to her about posting.
Dad's new piece of property.
The Ponderosa. It's exciting. He's like, got it done the food plot thing. He's been fighting kudzu. He's going to build him a lake one day.
I'm just looking for an invite.
As many times as he leaves at 3:00, he's got to be getting some stuff done.
No doubt about it.
Call me one day. I'll come.
The Ponderosa. Does it have any cactuses on it?
It has no cactus
Cacti.
that I've seen.
I got you.
But it does have a lot of coyotes. So right now I've moved from fighting kudzu to trying to battle coyotes.
Coyotes.
Plural.
It's not a wolf, is it?
It could be. I'm getting a big picture. He's and he shows up during the middle of the day. So we actually, Jesse and I climbed in a stand last Sunday afternoon. And as soon as we kind of got situated and got everything sitting, just right, I just kind of looked up and looked across the field. And about 125 yards away, there was a beam of sunshine coming down in the woods. And I could see something really light gray. And I assumed it was a deer laying there. So I got my binoculars, looked at it, and it was a coyote curled up like a dog asleep in that sunshine.
Getting him a little warmth.
So, yeah. But how many times have you ever seen a coyote sleeping?
Acting like a domestic dog, just hanging out.
Have you ever seen one sleep?
I never have.
I mean, so I started thinking, well, I don't have anything to kill him with. She's got a bow, and, that's...
No spot and stalk.
Yeah, there's just
no way you're going to sneak up on one.
But anyway, he eventually, about 10 minutes later, stretched and raised his head up and scratched just like a dog would, and then sat up and then trotted off. And but he's on my hit list. I mean, I want to get rid of him.
Mm-hmm. Don't want to mess him with your turkeys.
Well, I had that one turkey. Yeah, one hen.
This is at the Ponderosa.
It is at the Ponderosa.
Down the road.
Yeah, and I'm not calling it the Ponderosa.
We call it
the Ponderosa.
The name is the Ponderosa.
Yeah. Okay. So, but anyway, one hen, and she's disappeared on me. And I'm thinking maybe he got
You think the coyote ran her off?
I don't know. But I'm blaming him for it.
Mm-hmm. He might have been sitting out there with a full belly of turkey.
He might have been. She's been gone about 2 months now.
Well, I hope you catch him.
Yeah.
Are you going to try to trap him?
Yes.
All right.
Yes. I met a young man that lives over there pretty close that's a really good trapper, and he's going to help me.
Oh, good. Good.
Yeah, I saw a
I'd
video.
hate for you to get caught in a foot trap or
Yeah,
something.
I would too. I watched him set one last night, and I said,
I ain't touching him or do that thing.
And I said, I have got to remember that thing is right there.
Help.
So anyway, that's what's going on with me.
Oh, good. So you are taking your child hunting on youth weekend. That's good.
Well, she's not a youth anymore.
I know.
But she has suddenly gotten interested in shooting a bow, and it's making me crazy.
That's good. What about you, Dud?
I'm going to try to make little Dud go with me.
Gotcha.
He has different interests, but we're working on it. I think give me a couple years, he'll be on the team.
You going to go to Ebenezer?
I think so.
All right, to the farm. Check on those brassicas.
Yeah, I hope they're looking good. The deer just started eating them, and I do not have a cage in them yet. So I'm going to put cages out, do a little bit of road work, a little bit of stand moving, get rid of wasps, that kind of thing, and try and get little Dud in a stand Sunday afternoon.
That's kind of what's on my agenda, too. A little work and hopefully a little hunting with them.
I've actually been doing some longbow hunting.
I hear you.
On public land. I've only been 3 times. I hadn't been successful, but I honestly have never hunted public land deer before. And I said, I need to learn how to do this and try to get one, and maybe it'll go away. But I'm enjoying the hiking and, looking at the topo maps.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, there's private land. You can almost just park your truck, walk 200 yards, climb into a shooting house. I think I'm enjoying the process more than the hunt itself. Packing your climber in and,
getting your stuff ready.
Yeah.
That's how I grew up hunting, was hunting public land. We're going to talk about hunting.
And the trees are so big. It's just so pretty when you're out there.
Where are you going?
You can't ask him those kind of questions.
Well, why not?
I'm going in Mississippi.
Ooh.
Got it.
So what about you, Riley? What you got lined up for the weekend? You going to try to get down to your little Ponderosa in Knoxville County?
We might try on Sunday. Harmon's, we're still working, getting food plots planted there or wrapping up getting food plots.
Well, man, I don't feel so bad.
No.
I was ahead of somebody.
Weird.
When it gets November and you hadn't gotten your food plots in, it's
well, they're in. They're not very high. So I'm, trying to give them a break a little bit.
What are you
going to do?
Yeah,
Put some fertilizer
on. That's the only thing you can do.
There's something we're missing.
It's not go in there and blow it out.
Go encourage them to grow.
Yeah, just leave it alone. We've got, there's 12 people on our lease, so there's a lot of bow hunters in there right now. So I'm not gonna
give it a
break.
And Bobby, you were complaining about us taking this podcast taking so long just a minute ago. About it, being over an hour, and we're 20 minutes in and hadn't gotten started on the topic yet. So I'm just figuring out if you're the one saying it takes too long.
He just wants to talk, and then he doesn't want to hear what anybody else has got to say.
Bobby show.
The Bobby show.
Okay. All right. I see where this is going. So why don't we move right along and let's go to our little segment of blood on the biologic. And there's been several big deer killed.
Yeah. The jury team is still on fire. Looks like Matt got I hadn't looked at it too much, but it looks like a pretty daggum big deer.
Yeah, I think that's the second from Matt. He's done good. And then Jeff Lindsay killed a really nice deer in Illinois. He was talking about it's the heaviest deer he's ever killed.
Like mass wise or like body weight?
Mass wise is what 7-inch bases maybe if I remember right.
Wow.
Yeah, big deer, old deer,
huge deer.
Saw a picture of that on Instagram just a minute ago.
That kind of brings up the conversation. Maybe we'll get into the later podcast about, antlers and scoring. And, around here we like to talk about, we like to count it all. But a deer with 7-inch bases, if he carries it all the way out to his main beams, that kind of brings up the conversation about how you measure them.
Mm-hmm. Because he ought to get a lot of extra credit for that.
Yeah. And in their water displacement way to measure them or something like that?
People talk about it, and I think that would be the way to go.
Yeah.
The whole deduction thing, I get it, and it's been around for so long, and I doubt it's going to change.
Right.
But I don't know.
I've never been cool with them just, taking stuff away from them.
Mm-hmm. No, I tend to agree
and
with
then,
you.
The whole symmetry thing, why does it have to be perfectly symmetrical? What makes that a better trophy?
Right.
Those are all good questions. And we should
dig into that one day.
And the water placement, this displacement method sounds perfect, but it just seems to me that so many racks would displace just as much water. I mean, I don't know how you measure that. Because the way you score it now, you can measure it down to 1/8 of an inch. Mm-hmm. But in displacing water, I just think that there's probably a whole lot of them that would displace about the same. There's not enough difference that you could really tell.
Yeah, probably so.
Yeah, I don't know how they would measure it with the displacement.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and look, before we move on, we need to give a little. We're thinking about you, Austin Delano. He.
What happened?
Oh, I forgot about that.
He had some hair on the biologic.
No, a little close call, huh?
Yeah.
Where is he hunting?
He was in Illinois.
Ooh.
Illinois with a pretty nice buck, and he said that the string hit his jacket or caught a button or something, and made him hit the deer a little high. But
he's not even here to defend himself.
But
that's so good. Now we can say whatever we want to say.
I'm taking up for you, Austin.
Hey, look. I know what it's all about, not putting it exactly where you want it.
And what does Mr. Fox say? He'll forget about it in about 20 years.
He'll forget about that in 20 or 30 years.
Yeah.
Well, maybe he'll get back on another one. Or is he on his way home?
Yeah, I think he's back home.
Ooh. Yeah.
So he'll have to live with that one for a while. But the good news, he's got it on film. So whenever he starts to forget about it,
he can just play it right back.
It is funny, the footage. You see the hair just flying everywhere.
Bow hunting, I'm sure.
And he told me they saw the deer 3 times in the next few days. So chasing does, so it wasn't injured.
Didn't even phase him. They're amazing creatures, that's for sure.
They're tough. Yep. So the valuable real estate that we refer to as the show sponsor, this week it's Leopold scopes.
Oh man, we use those out there in New Mexico.
Yeah,
that's what we're going to talk about today.
I've had a Leopold scope for as long as I can remember. They make great products, and I'm really happy to know that they're associated with Gamekeepers. They're sponsoring the television show. And
I was pilfering through that box back there, and I found some sunglasses that were pretty impressive. So if you happen to be missing them, they might be in my office.
They are good-looking glasses. I don't have them set yet, but they do look nice.
Yeah.
Leopold glasses?
Yeah.
Sunglasses.
Yeah, I'll show them to you. Yeah, they're impressive.
I like all my stuff of theirs.
Yeah, quality stuff.
And they were kind of the OG folks with the warranty.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right, back in the day.
Mm-hmm.
Because there's a lot of optics companies out there now. But they've been...
they're so dependable.
Yeah, they've been there.
So dependable. When you look and you see that gold ring, you know it's a good quality product.
Don't they have a museum or something where they have like a rifle that was found in the woods or something like that? Is that not you telling me that? Damn, I'm gonna mess up somebody else's. Is that Ben telling that?
Yeah.
Was it
in their
Leopold?
factory, and it's super cool. Yeah.
Yeah,
And
like
they make everything, and then there's a museum in there, and
like somebody had left their rifle propped up somewhere for like long time, and then
they found it.
They found it, and the scope's still perfect on it. Yeah,
I hadn't heard that.
Yeah.
That's a good story.
I think they've got a museum, like Jess was saying that Ben was talking about. It's got all the old stuff that show how tough their products really are.
that's what we used in New Mexico, and it was from the rangefinders to the scope. Was it the Ultimate Slam? I think is the name of it. The one we used it is money.
Yeah, so that's what we want to talk about today is y'all's trip to New Mexico, and there's
Southern boys going west.
Lots of stories, I hope, about this. So we're going to talk about elk. We're going to talk about do it yourself. I mean, this was
public land, do it yourself kind of thing. Yeah.
I mean, you drove out there.
Yeah, we had a little assistance.
Took the meat wagon.
The meat wagons. Yeah.
So why don't you? Who wants to start telling us the story?
Shoot, Jess.
Why don't y'all start with how you decided how you were going to put in for tags and not tell anybody else about it?
Yeah, we know you're jealous.
Y'all got tags. Why don't you start there?
I mean, you just go to their website and put in for the tag. It's just a matter of knowing what to do and when to do it.
We've been exposed a little bit to this. I think, first of all, New Mexico does a phenomenal job of, from what I've seen, 80-90% of land out there is public in the first place. So it's hard to get drawn.
Is that BLM?
BLM, and then there's all kind of different.
Lots of national forests.
Yeah, lots of national forests, lots of BLM, and there's big wedges of stuff that you can, get access to. And
is it on a draw system all, or it's not just hard. You just can't ride out there?
It's hard to even comprehend how hard it is to draw. I didn't realize at first how hard it was. We were on the mountain cleaning the elk, and the guy that brought the pack horses said he's been putting in for 9 years, and he lives there and has never drawn.
And they have a higher percentage of drawing than non-residents.
Yeah.
So we put in together, Jess and I, in a hunt party. And so if one of us gets drawn, the other one gets drawn. And we also put in with an outfitter, which increases your odds. I think from 2 to 6, 2 to 16.
2 to 16%.
It's definitely a higher percentage.
I think Joseph said. Yeah.
I think that's what's so intriguing about the way New Mexico is managing that resource, because they are creating access. And look, when you're out there, especially on those opening weekends, there's just as many families out there,
hikers, campers, you name it,
doing their thing. And
I bet that when they realize it's opening weekend of elk season, I bet they panic.
But they're out there camping and hunting.
Oh, not just hiking.
Yeah, not just hiking. They're out, out there doing the thing too. So it's a real, it's a cultural thing for sure. But I think on top of, the layers they have for it, you don't have any points, so everybody's on the even keel as far as getting drawn. If you just put in, it's a lower, and non-resident, you're a lower percentage. If you put in with an outfitter, then your percentage goes up, but you have to spend X amount of time with those outfitters. And
why would that make your percentage go up?
Because what they're doing, I really think in retrospect, they're increasing non-resident people's success in the field, but it could be fairly dangerous, to go out there and just do it on your own. So they have created an industry around it. So I think if I understand this correctly, you have to go to guide school.
Yeah.
And then you have to spend almost like your real estate broker's license out there. Mm-hmm. You have to spend X amount of time with a certified outfitter, and then you get your guiding license. And their seasons are pretty compact too. They have the archery season, I think, is 5 days, and the muzzleloader season is 5 days, and the rifle season is 5 days. So, there's a lot of hunters and things going on out there, at the same time. So, yeah, we, just from our experience, we've got a good relationship with Graham's Guide Service out there in Ruidoso. So
they got a website?
Yes, Graham's Guide Service, I think, .com.
You just Google it.
Yeah, look at them on Instagram.
The guide thing is, if you think about it, it makes a lot more sense. They would encourage people to go with a guide because of the safety thing,
right.
But also just regulation on, New Mexico is known for big bull elk, and it didn't get by that way by everybody going out there and shooting every small elk that's out there. So the guides are obviously encouraging people to pass on, 1 or 2 year olds.
Because if you're a guy that's never seen an elk before, and you see a small, but
it's on.
You're
Especially
probably gonna get excited.
I've seen a bunch of them. They all look huge to me.
The first 4 that walked out in front of me, I was looking at Clifford like, that's one, right? And he's like, no, man, just wait. I hear a bigger one. I'm like,
that's a spike.
Yeah, that thing's huge.
They're all huge.
And these guides too. They are very, very knowledgeable on the resource, and in supreme physical condition. I think it's
that makes a lot of sense that they could help you through some of those decisions.
Oh yeah, because it'd be tough. It would be tough just going out there blind.
Yep.
So it does cost a little more money. Obviously you have to pay you get the tag, and then you pay the guide. And our guide, we had a one-on-one guide, and then he gave us a place to stay. So that's how it worked for us.
And you're learning.
Oh yeah,
you're being taught. So if you plan on going out there by yourself, it may not be a bad idea to use an outfitter the first time or two.
Absolutely.
Learn the ropes.
Especially as rare as it is to get drawn, you want to.
Yeah, that's what I would say.
Odds of success.
It's hard to get drawn. If you do get drawn, you want to come back, with a good experience. That's for sure.
I bet they're super helpful on the hunt itself, but then I bet once that animal's on the ground, that's where
it's serious.
They're really helpful.
Look, and these guys love to hunt. That it's almost like when you do harvest, they kind of go through this depression because they're not getting to hunt anymore.
Well, the cool thing about Graham's Guide Service and Joseph and his old crew is they all help each other out. They're a true team.
Yeah, I don't know what their success ratio is, but it's crazy.
Okay, so
it was
let me
100% while we were there. 8 people in camp, 8 kills.
That is incredible.
100%.
So everybody was shooting a muzzleloader?
Yep. Yeah, we were all muzzleloader season.
Okay, so let me ask Jess a question, because I have a pretty good idea what went through your mind when you saw the muzzleloader first, which was just chaos.
Yeah.
But I'd like to know, Jess, who's a young man from South Mississippi on the coast that's never probably laid eyes on a bull elk before, and there you are on the side of the mountain.
I've never laid eyes on a mountain.
So there you are on the mountain, bulls bugling. When you laid eyes on the bull the first time, tell us about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, being from South Mississippi, the tallest hill we have is a sand dune on Horn Island. So, that's being in the mountains is a unique thing for me and a different thing for me to begin with. But yeah, honestly, it happened. We got there a day early, thankfully. 17-hour drive out there. Got out there, started shooting a little bit, practicing. I was not confident in my shooting. That confident in my shooting going out there muzzleloader. I just never really hunted with a muzzleloader. It's always a bow or a rifle. So got out there and started shooting a little bit. But yeah, the morning of, we get up at 3 is a 2.5 hour hike up the mountain in the dark following Clifford. It was
2.5 hours?
Oh, this place ain't no joke, man.
You park and just go and go and go and go and go. And it was me and Riley and Clifford, the guide, and it's pitch black.
Riley Payne.
Yeah. Carrying the camera equipment. That's a bunch, 80 pounds of stuff on his back. So
I'm sure Riley got in shape before.
Of course,
he
just had a baby, so he's still carrying the baby weight. Yeah, he and his wife. So it was a little extra tough on him. But he, to be fair, it's 60, 70, 80 pounds. I don't know how much his equipment weighs, but it's a lot. Man. Plus water and jackets and all that. So,
right.
But we got, as soon as we got to the top of the hill, we heard him bugling. I had him one of those Tetra amp things, which was cool. It enhances your hearing, whatever. So, so what? Anyway, so yeah, they start bugling early in the morning, and you really, you're going up the entire time, right? You're going, climbing, but it's pitch black, so you can't see anything. You can just feel the air getting thinner, and you're obviously can't breathe, can't do anything. And then the sun comes up, and you're like, oh my gosh,
I'm up here closer to heaven.
Yeah, much closer. So, from there, the hunt started. But, when the sun come up and you could actually see, the fall colors out there are cool. But you hear them bugling, and then when we got in a position, you get going real fast and get to where you think you need to be, and finally get a chance to stop and start looking around and catch your breath, and it's a pretty amazing place.
So what
definitely
about
not around?
What about when you saw a bull the first time? What was?
Well, the first, we saw 10 cows come out first, and then a smaller bull. Well, what I thought, now I know it's a smaller bull. I was like, there he is. And
turn the safety off.
Yeah, he's like, whoa. Actually, I had a chance to get settled in. Thankfully, we were next to this tree. It's on the whole, the hunt's on, it'll be straight, an episode of Terra on Mossy Oak Go. On Mossy Oak Go, you can catch it. But me and Clifford set up next to a tree, and they had a perfect spot, and there were 5 or 6 cows, and Riley was coming, like I said, he was carrying that stuff, so he was a little bit behind us. So we were waiting on him, but 2 or 3 bulls actually passed in front before.
Are y'all hearing shots off in the distance?
No. Yeah, we did. We heard a shot a little bit earlier.
Are you seeing orange moving through the?
No, this was in a little valley. You couldn't see really anything other than what was in a little valley right in front of us. So there was no, whatever. But there was 10, 12 cows come out, and then 3 or 4 bulls come out, smaller bulls, spike into, 4x4. And all I saw was, big elk in front of me. So I'm trying to, get my composure. But thankfully, I had a chance to get on the gun, look through the scope, practice aiming before Riley was there, because I couldn't shoot without the camera guy there, right? So that helped out a lot in my shot, I think.
So you're but Riley still hadn't made it up the mountain yet.
Riley was still coming. So finally he gets up there, and a shooter comes out. There's all in total, there's probably 50 or 60 cows, somewhere between that. So it's elk everywhere.
And you're having to wait on Riley.
Oh yeah.
Oh my goodness.
He, like we talked about it. He was carrying a load, but
I can only imagine what was going through your mind.
I was just trying to get calm. I'm not the most physically in shape person either, and I'm, trying to calm it down, catch my breath. Well,
what are y'all at, like 8,000 feet?
Turns out Riley gets behind me, and he's trying to get set up, and the only shooter in the well, they were all shooters to me looking at his first time elk hunting, but the shooter in the herd comes out and walks, comes out, presents a shot. Couldn't do it. Camera wasn't ready. There were cows all over them. 50 cows in a herd with 4 bulls, and they're all, stacked in there. So there was always a head or a cow standing behind, or, what have you. So it was hard to get a shot. But eventually they walk off in a little clump of trees right there. And Clifford looks at me and said, "Are you ready?" And I was like, "For what?" And he goes, "We're about to run." So we run, sit in this ditch. So there went I was set up on a tree, stable as could get, had the tripod on a tree, 3 or 4 points of contact, was just feeling it. And he's like, "All right, let's roll." We get set up in a ditch, and I'm sitting on my butt, kind of pointing up with the muzzle loader, and, the rest it's on video, so it's cool. But, again, there's so many cows, and I had, 6 or 7 shots where you could shoot the bull clearly, but there was always a cow standing behind him, or a head right in the kill zone. It was just always something. But
Riley's with you this whole time now.
He's right over
Riley showed up.
Yeah. Okay.
And turned the camera on.
Is he breathing hard? Is he like exhausted?
You can hear us all breathing hard except for Clifford. He was,
He's a machine.
He is an actual mountain goat.
Yeah, he is.
Up and down. But, it was right at 250 yards, and he's like, "Shoot!" And the bull's coming down the hill at me, and I was like, "Man, I don't know, I don't know about shooting him in the chest, worried about it. Finally, he turns broadside and more cows step in the way. And eventually they get out and boom, I sent one down range and connected. First shot, he took 15 yards and flopped over.
Wait a minute.
One shot.
One shot is all it took.
That's right.
I know where you're going, Bobby.
Oh, I know where
It's
he's
okay.
going too.
I do too.
Well, I'm asking the audience to make a mental note that here is Jeff's first opportunity on the ever hunt elk.
First
He's
animal
on
I've
the-
ever killed with a muzzleloader.
He's up there at all this excitement, and he manages to.
He's
pull
just
it
a
off
regular
with one
old
shot.
Daniel Boone. That's right.
Bobby's setting this up to make fun of Lannie.
It's okay.
Fantastic.
You look, man, you
We
you don't bat 1,000 every time. You just don't.
Well, so
So mental note, Jess shot once.
good for you, Jeff.
He gone. Thank you.
Very, very proud.
he
of you.
gone.
I was proud of the shot.
So-
I had practiced enough the day
Yeah,
before
yeah,
where
I was-
Okay,
I
so
was comfortable.
So one more
300
question for you.
yards.
When you shoot the bull at 300 yards, runs off. So fast forward in the story to when you walk up on the bull. Tell me what's going through your mind at that point.
I don't know, just thankful, blessed.
Mm-hmm.
You know, you don't really realize how big an elk is till you get up on it. I mean, any pictures,
No,
they don't do it justice. Videos, they don't do it justice. It is a large animal. I was talking about it last night with a friend of mine. I was like, the backstrap is, dang near the size of your leg.
Yeah.
And the inner loins are pretty much the size of your forearm, or like the
like a
backstrap on a small doe.
Yeah.
The inner loins are. They're just, I mean, that puts it in perspective for people listening. It's a huge animal, 200 pounds of ground meat and roast. And I weighed it. It was 22 pounds of backstrap, I think I got out of that.
Very tasty too.
Yeah, I hope I get to try some
Maybe.
at some point.
That's a lot of meat.
It's a lot of meat. I had to go buy a new freezer.
One doe, if I do it all myself, it's like 20
25 maybe.
20
30
to
at the
25.
most.
Yeah.
A
It
garden.
definitely puts the pressure off, filling the freezer with deer meat.
Yeah, I bet it does.
When I first bought this farm a short time ago, every single field was grown up with brush 8 and 10 feet high. But it went from that to this. And even though I planted biologic with very little moisture in the ground, I was really amazed at the results. I just sat in this field with my wife as she shot her very first deer. We could not be happier. We made a memory that will last a lifetime. All because of the effectiveness of the best food plot seed on the market. Biologic is better seed, pure and simple. Log on to plantbiologic.com to learn more.
So if you had one tip to give an aspiring elk hunter from the eastern half of the
bayou.
United
Believe
States.
it or not, everybody was on me. That all the, you got Neil and Daniel, Vanny, Lannie, Ben. Everybody's like, dude, you need to be exercising. So I started a cardio / whatever exercise routine, 45 minutes a day, 4 days a week before going out there, which helped out a lot, I think.
Yeah, I think the challenge is out there, everybody's going to get out of breath, but you want your recovery time to be just like Jess was talking about. He got up there and then he could recover in a minute or two, and gain his composure back, because there's nobody that's going to, we did 14 miles almost the first day,
Oh my goodness.
so.
Were you sore?
No, I wasn't. I was tired.
Feet hurt.
Yeah, your feet
Blisters,
would hurt.
but-
Your feet would be like, are my feet on fire? McElwain was like, are y'all's feet burning? I'm like, mine been burning since lunch.
Oh, wow.
Practicing breathing.
Yeah.
You know how fired up a lot of people get over shooting. If you're from, our part of the world, a buck in general, right?
That's not just our part of the world.
Everywhere. Yeah, but you start looking at and the elk is a once in a lifetime. For a lot of people, a bucket list thing. So you practice breathing, practice cardio.
There
whatever.
may be another way to look at this. You got one shot at this bull, and you made it count. Lannie over here, he's got 7 different shots he can
That's
relive
right.
in his mind.
And a massive rundown chasing after it.
Yeah.
What a memory.
I hadn't thought about it like that.
Well, it is quite a memory. I don't have many things don't happen to me that don't have. It's not an adventure till something goes wrong, Bobby. It can't all go smooth all the time.
So Jess's bull was high up the mountain, and your bull was down in the.
In the desert, I was, I think, little over an hour from Mexico.
But y'all slept in the same camp,
Mm-hmm.
and he just went up and you went down?
That's the crazy thing about being out there, is that you can be in town and, like I said, get up at 3, 4, just like we would here if we're going duck hunting or anything else, and have a couple, 3 hours to get up where you need to be. Because these bulls are either coming off of the mountain and coming down to feed or going back up. And there's a huge, Indian reservations and stuff you can't hunt out there too. So it's just a matter of, it's just a really cool place to be where you can, get in town, get rested up, because you need the rest and you need the nutrients as hard as you hunt. I mean, with these guys, there's no question about it. I mean, when you leave in the mornings, first thing we did, we'd get up and eat breakfast, and then we'd pack, serious
snacks,
amounts of food and lunches for how many calories you're burning out there.
And lots of water.
Lots of water. So it is a once in a lifetime, I believe. I don't think I'll ever be able to go out there again.
Well, it was twice.
Yeah, I've been
back to back years.
Back to back years. Getting to go elk hunting in New Mexico. So I really don't believe I'm fine without ever going again. But that being said, everybody, I encourage everybody to get out there and try it.
And it's public land too.
All this is public.
You're wanting to get up there early and, I guess, beat people to the good
spots. That's the name of the game.
There were folks camping on the mountain that we were on. There were people camping in tents who were also hunting.
Yeah.
But we think that's who, because we smelled their fire walking up. They had a fire going, I guess, from the night before, smoke. And they had, as soon as we heard one shot that morning, I killed. And then the 3 other elk that went on there were 5. I killed one of them. Those 4 elk and the cow, they pushed them over the mountain, and we heard another shot. So there was somebody on the next ridge over who killed one of the bulls that.
I mean, it's public land.
It's public land,
Which I have an endearment for, obviously. And we're the same way. We hike by people camping in the dark. And I think that's the key to it. You got to be able, on the physical side of things, to put yourself,
get past the crowds,
get past the crowds. Just like, us hunting public land around here, it's pressure, So once you get past them, then it's phenomenal hunting. I just can't even explain it.
So tell us your story.
My story, we actually started a little lower than Jess and got on some bulls. That first morning, that first day, we spent all day out in the mountains and got close a couple times, and things just didn't really materialize. This year, unlike last year, they didn't have the rainfall or the weather, so I guess it was hot and windy, so the hunting wasn't as good. I don't think because they weren't rutting. It's because you can't hear. I mean, you know how it is when the wind's blowing and you're turkey hunting. Right. It's hard to hear. So being hard to hear makes it difficult to hunt the way we were hunting out there. But spent the most of the second day up on a place called Goat Mountain, glassing and finding bulls and finding a herd and trying to find a herd bull and getting in front of them and seeing what they look like. And it had gotten so hot and dry that afternoon that we had spent most of the time just looking, and never really, found a herd or a herd bull to hunt. So we were kind of planning on going back where we were the first morning, where I knew there was a big 5. They love to kill 6s out there. We call that a 10 point. They like to kill 12 points out there.
6 by 6.
6 by 6. Yeah. So I think Jake, another one of the guys, I was hunting with JJ, who I've hunted with the last couple of years, great guy. And just like Jess was talking about, these guys are a posse. They work together, so as soon as I think Jake had killed the first morning, he went on to helping everybody else. And he had a little sliver of a honey hole. He knew where it was. So we went actually the opposite way of everybody else that third morning and drove, I think, almost an hour and a half, 2 hours, got out, and I've got pictures of it. We're in the middle of the desert. I mean, it was like I was in a desert bowl, and around me were just mountains everywhere.
So cactus and stuff?
Oh, no, cactus, yeah. I'm still picking cactus out of me,
Well, this is the day you killed? This is the third day?
Third day. Well, yeah, when you're running through the desert with a muzzleloader, chasing after a bull you shot, you don't really notice all the cactuses.
Wow.
But, so in that morning, it was pretty quick, a lot. It was still, the moon was up, and we could hear bulls bugling. Made a move and got to where we could see a couple of them, and they weren't really mature herd bulls, and then just happened to look over in the next valley, and there he was. Herd bull was there and was bugling, and I guess to your point, then the chase began after the first shot, which was in the vitals, but it just wasn't. It was high and right, that's for sure.
So when you knew you were looking at the herd bull, when you realized this was the bull you were going to try to kill, did you get excited at that? Did you get tore out of the frame?
No, I always get I have to calm myself down, I have to talk to myself.
Yeah.
I don't think it's out loud. I don't know if David might have that on camera. But I have to, calm yourself down.
How long from the time you first saw him till you actually got a shot?
I took a minute because it's a long shot. It was over 300 yards, and I wasn't, I wasn't prone. I wasn't in the best position. I was, propped kind of funny. And, but I think that's another thing Jess will tell you, and I'll tell you too. If you're not comfortable with the shot, don't take the shot. And I felt comfortable with the shot. And my first shot, these are extremely tough animals, is the best way to put it. So it was in the lungs. It was a little high and a little far back. But it slowed him down enough that I could shoot up all the rest of the bullets. In my fanny pack.
The first shot's just to slow him
down. That's so funny because Vandy was telling Jess, he's like, did he slow him down the first shot? I'm like, do not listen to him, But in the end, it was definitely a hunt. So
I'm just amazed you had 7 loads with you.
I am too. I'm pretty confident in my shooting ability. And
did you know that was your last load? You were like, oh, I got to make this one count?
Oh yeah, no, I fully knew when I looked up. Like, there's the last one right there. At this point, he had 5 holes in him. And I'm like, this thing is unbelievably tough.
That's crazy.
So what's your guide's name?
JJ.
Okay, is JJ going? What's he back there doing? I mean, surely he's probably thinking, what in the world is this fool doing?
We were all, Jake said, man, if the wind been blowing, he'd been whistling out there, all the holes in him. He just...
is JJ telling you to calm down, take your time? What's he...
No, me and JJ are running through the cactuses, jumping over stuff, trying to get in front of him and just get him killed, in the flurry of the money. And poor David and Jake are about 600 yards back, wondering what's going on.
Yeah, I think it's different than whitetail. A lot of people that make a shot on a whitetail that's subpar, they'll leave them overnight and that kind of thing. I think with elk, it's more of a run and gun type deal.
Yeah,
you get a bullet in them and follow up.
Yeah,
keep going.
And that's the one thing those guys will tell you. Once you start, do not stop till, he's down. That's the one thing. Because all of them will tell you about how many bulls they've seen walk off and never find again. Mm. And out there, too, in the desert, we didn't want to obviously let him lay.
And you probably have the risk of pushing him by another hunter, too.
Yeah. Yeah. And, once, there's places you can't hunt, too, so you don't necessarily run there. All this land is zigzagged, and there's fences, and you got to know where to go. So, you definitely don't want to have to go and ask somebody's permission. You want to try to get the animal down and out of there as quick as possible. Mm-hmm. So let the chase begin. So I will tell you, as far as Jess's and Riley's footage, I guess this is to Riley's. I don't give Riley many props, but I'm telling you,
it was good.
It is like the highest it is next level.
Great morning light.
Yeah.
I mean, it looks phenomenal.
Mine, on the other hand, you're gonna have to beat this out as a shit show.
David's on the mountain in the back, and you see Lannie and JJ just
pop up,
boom,
yeah,
cloud of smoke, go down.
And in his defense, there was no way for him to follow us
get the shot.
Yeah, so it'll be interesting how it all comes together. But I tell you what, that animal is, we think about it, that's a prairie animal. I don't know, Dudley. At some point, maybe they were tromping around here up the prairie.
Grazers.
Yeah, so for these animals to be that adaptive, and to be that big, and you got to think that thing requires that much more nutrition, But these things are thriving in the desert, thriving in the mountains. It's just a hugely impressive animal.
It is. And they taste good, too.
Oh, man, they're unbelievably tasty. But the requirements they have on water is what was so apparent to me this time, because there was lots of water out there last year. They'd had a lot of rain. The bulls were, Jess killed the biggest bull in camp this year, but the bulls last year, they call them their threes outside their eye guards were bigger, and they said that was because of the rain. And there was very little water out there this year.
And there doesn't seem to be that much to eat. You think about where we are, there's all this ag and
I don't know what
corn
they
and
eat,
soybeans,
yeah.
and they're out there eating
Pine hunt straw.
grass and acorns and
it's
alfalfa, I guess. But
it's just
it's crazy. It's a extremely fascinating place and the wildlife there. But they have these tanks, what they call tanks. We actually ran into one called the Phillips 66 tank. So Phillips, I guess back in the day, had built these water traps that caught snow and rainwater and make it available to the wildlife. So there are ways to manage, and I think part of probably the wildlife program in New Mexico, the way the landowners are, part of that is, giving access to water and those kind of things. It's just so crucial, which is so interesting to us to come because we come from the land of water,
Right.
and food. Yeah.
So, yeah. I tell you, Clifford, he told me, I said, you ever been to Mississippi? And he said, yeah, man, I went turkey hunting down there one time. I said, you did? He said, yeah, there was a big old gobbler out in front of us. And he said, I felt the bead of sweat going up my back. He said, I sat there for a minute and I felt another bead of sweat going up my back. And he said he quickly declothed and got out of there and went back home.
No ticks out there.
There's no ticks. It is an amazing place. And, lots of cool stuff out there. So I'd encourage anybody to.
Yeah. So what, I guess y'all won't tell me what area you were in, but did you go by Area 51?
We went through Roswell. I think we thought we were going through Area 51, and they told us that.
I got a story about that.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, so
you saw a Black Panther?
No, I didn't see it. We did. There was definitely some cougars on the mountain.
Yeah, we'll tell you the cougar story in just a second.
I'll tell you that. But no, so we're driving back. It's late. I don't know. It's 11 or 12.
I forgot about this.
We're coming through. We're approaching Roswell, headed back to Mississippi, right?
This is it.
This is
almost
late,
midnight.
11:30, 11:45, and me and Riley
right at that.
Going down the road, and we're listening to.
Well, how did that vehicle sound?
Like that right there.
Right.
We're
because he was hitting
to a Joe Rogan podcast on aliens because we're in Roswell, right?
Yeah.
Why not?
Why not?
Pitch black desert,
real dark.
You can see the lights off. We're still pretty good ways from Roswell. You can see the lights off in the distance. So we're between Roswell and Ruidoso.
Right in Alienville.
Listening to an alien podcast, middle of the night. And I don't know, Lannie was...
I was behind y'all.
It hadn't been a half a mile or more. I mean, you weren't right up on us. No. I didn't see your headlights when it happened, but we're going through pitch black desert, middle of the night. Boom. The whole truck just shuts down. Okay, all the power just goes dead.
They go in front. I just see the truck disappear into the black.
Yeah, and I'm sitting there, and you can't. It's black, and you can't see anything. And so, trying to keep it on the road, and you hear the when you get to the little notches on the side. So I'm kind of hugging those notches, and the brakes weren't. I don't want to say they weren't working, but it wasn't
got power brakes
slamming on. It wasn't coming to a stop. So I had my foot on the brake, but it was taking a while to come to a stop, and it's black. You don't know where you are anyway. You can't see. There's no reference point to there's this cactus and that cactus. You just feel yourself slowing down a little bit, and power completely dead in the truck. And I'm like, Riley, what the hell's going on? What are we gonna do? Roswell and.
Bessie done jumped in the truck.
So I open the door. There's obviously no traffic. I see Lannie. I look in see Lannie coming down the road behind us, and thinking, damn, I hope he doesn't run into us because there's no brake light. There's no power in the truck. I can't get the key out. It's weird. You walked up there, and I was like, dude, I can't get the key out. It wouldn't pull out of the ignition. I'm sure I was just nervous, whatever. But finally, we open the hood. He pulls up. He gets out, comes up, we talk for a second, opens the hood, we're looking at it. We don't do anything. We just get back in the truck and crank it up and
fires right back up.
That is what happened.
That's crazy.
No BS.
Anything happened to yours? That sort of stuff happens to you all the time.
Right, yeah, it's pretty common stuff for me. Like your truck tears up when I'm riding in it with you.
Yes, it does. Yes, it does.
So, but anyway, I just thought it was weird, Roswell, Alienville.
Did Riley get some video of this?
No.
Riley being a professional cameraman with camera. He did not get any video.
It was all packed up.
Riley doesn't have much, good timing sometimes.
It was all packed up.
That is pretty spooky.
It was spooky.
So did y'all find yourselves looking at the sky, trying to see if you saw some sort of anything?
We looked at the sky.
Look, there's a lot of sky out there, so you can definitely see some stuff.
Did you see signs that said Area 51?
No, I think from what they told
Area
me,
51 is in.
Yeah, it's north of there.
Yeah,
it's not even around Roswell.
Well,
Area 51's in Arizona. I think.
Yeah, it's Arizona. They said that
Roswell's where that supposed alien crash happened in the 40s or something like that. That's two different things. Area 51's not in.
The locals tell us that was made up because the naval station left Roswell and they were trying to create tourism there.
Yeah, they had a Navy station in New Mexico?
Maybe an Air Force station.
Sorry. Air Force.
First of all, they don't have any water, but they got a naval station. Yeah. Sorry. Details. Golly. Well, you're sharp today, bud.
Well, you have to fact check you. Yeah.
But they did, one of the guys, we were lucky, the crew out there that was in camp, most of them, believe it or not, were from Mississippi and Tennessee.
They were all from Madison and Jackson. Yeah.
Well, so let's go to this, you got a cougar story.
Yeah. One of the guys from Mississippi, we needed to have a camera with him, Russell, wasn't that his name?
Yeah.
Russell. Oh, Russell, he had a hell of a hunt, boy. So I think that he got up to the top of the mountain the first morning and I think he I don't know if he missed, but it didn't quite go well. And he was kind of in the dumps about that. And then they got up, I think we're going up the mountain or coming down the mountain was it the second day?
I think it was the third day.
Third day.
Speaking of being in the dumps,
yeah,
Lannie uninvited me on his hunt. I just had to call you out on that because I hadn't called you out yet. The whole way out there, we're going to hunt together, this and that and that. And I had killed. And you were talking about we were all going to go together the first day, and it didn't. We ended up not doing it. But the third day, I was like, man,
the pressure was up.
Can me and Riley just come with you and have a second camera angle and I'll help spot or, glass, whatever? And no, I think we're going to. I don't want to be. He's like, I don't want to be, whatever, but we're just going to go with us. Got uninvited. That's Riley.
What kind of friend you are.
I bet.
No, this is true.
Well, because it would have added value to the television show. Having a second camera.
Now, look, I'm not going to agree. I told him, this is a completely selfish call right now.
Yeah.
But, 5 is harder to hide than 3.
Yeah, definitely would.
We ended up going to help another fella in camp track an elk he had shot and had to leave it overnight. But so that was fun. But
I bet Riley was thrilled that he only had to chase up the mountains one.
We went all 3 days.
They kept on going.
Okay.
We went and did a bunch of camera work and stuff for advertisements and marketing stuff the next day, and then went and helped the guy on the third day find his elk. So we went up the mountain all 3-4 days in a row.
Yeah. Okay. Well, let's get back to the cougar story.
Tangent.
And Dudley gets excited when you say cougar.
Wow.
Go ahead.
So, of course, I'm telling somebody else's story, which I'm pretty good at. But they were coming up the mountain or going down at one, and a cougar attacked them. And
attacked them.
Well, from what we understand, growled and it started advancing towards them.
Now, how far away?
He wasn't a growl. I think it was a wow.
Yeah.
What would you say that is? That's a growl.
A growl is like a
hey, listen, Jess, does it sound like this is what we think it sounds like? Go ahead.
Yeah, if I hear that and something's running at me, that's an attack.
100%.
A growl like, that's what my dog does when I get near his food bowl.
Well, cats growl too.
But it turned out it had some cubs, so it charged them, and they ended up having to shoot the daggum thing. And when it comes down to, so it was a big kind of a deal. The game warden showed up, had to check out the whole thing and make sure it was legit. But that's another reason to think about, you might need one of them guides with you.
Yeah. And that's another thing. You realize that this isn't,
the guide can help make that decision. Now, that had to be.
Well, the guide has ended up,
that is a tough decision.
They all carry, just for that reason. We don't think about that around here.
Right.
You carry because you carry the water moccasins, but it ain't like a cougar's going to bite you in the back of the head and drag you off.
Yeah.
So there are. It's a good example.
And that's when you figure out you really are in a wild place.
You're in a wild
this
spot.
Is wilderness.
Oh, it's a shame that there wasn't a camera to record that.
Oh, yeah.
It would have been
So that happened to him. And then they go back up the mountain the next morning. He gets a shot on a bull. I think I don't know what happens, but he shoots and the bull, I don't know if he hit it in the horn or he had to make a couple shots and the bull falls down.
Had you been helping him with the shooting?
I was helping him. Yeah, I was getting him trained up. Anyways, so they get up there, they get the bull. He is stoked. He is fired up. He's got he's the quintessential elk head on his back coming down the mountain. And guess what?
Bigfoot.
Nope, he walks by a honeybee hive.
Oh, no.
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness.
And they attack him.
No way.
Yeah.
And he has to run with that.
He runs straight. I think he threw the elk head down. Took off running.
That would totally happen to me.
So I think Russell had the most adventurous trip of all of us.
And we were in camp with 3 guys from Mississippi, and as it turns out, they were all out there. They were cool. Was it Russell, Will, Jonathan?
Yeah.
All
Yeah, it was a great camp. And then was a guy from Tennessee?
Price.
And then we had another couple that was from New York via Kentucky that was there too.
And everybody killed a bull?
Yeah,
100%.
100%. Look,
And before the last day.
Yeah.
Wow.
Sure did.
That's pretty impressive. Because I think last year when y'all were out there, everybody
100% last year too.
Grams, they say you have 100% chance. They'll put you on an elk to kill. Now, whether if you get the job done or not.
So like Lannie, even though it took him 7 shots.
Right.
I was going to get a chance. That would have been my chance.
Yeah.
See, you don't want to quit shooting when it's your only chance. Like my dad said, son, as long as there's lead in there, there's hope.
I bet you out in the area that Lannie, where he was, that there were other public land hunters that were hearing all these shots, and they were going, "What in the world?"
I thought I was in the Cubby Rise.
You can't take target practice on government land.
It was wild.
Speaking of that, on public, that another thing we don't have here, like they have, is getting back to the public land. There's, right behind the camp there's, I forget how many acres of public land, and people are riding side by side Can-Am type vehicles, and out there's like just random shooting ranges, shooting in the side of a hill, but you can go out there and just do what you want.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
BLM has fewer restrictions.
It's crazy.
We walked from the camp one day, start glassing. I mean, we literally walked just.
And it's just people doing all sorts of, it's completely for public use. I mean,
super outdoors, lots of outdoorsy people out there.
It's really cool.
So let's circle back to the cougar real quick before we get off that. Were they allowed to bring it down the mountain? Did they have to leave it there and it was like a crime scene and they had to take the
No, they had to cape it. He had to cape it and bring it down to the game warden.
The game warden took it back to wherever.
Yeah, they took it back.
Things.
And then I think they gave it back to them after they, did their study and whatever on it.
And then they have to tell the game warden, here's what happened, and the game warden either has to makes a decision whether he believes them or not.
Right. And look, these are real reputable guys. I mean, obviously he's been in the business and for years. So,
yeah, I'm not saying that about it, but in that
that's the process.
Yeah.
So
because it's probably pretty. I mean, they probably check out the story pretty thoroughly.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that was the same week that I don't think that panther was attacking that was on the internet. I think it was bluffing.
Right.
But it was the same day that came out as when I was went down.
It was pretty close when he waited till the last minute before he had to shoot.
Yeah, he had to shoot. It was point blank.
Yeah, it wasn't 30 yards away, or it was right there.
Well,
just another question. I wonder what happens with the kittens.
I don't know. He said they were big, so he said that he didn't think, they were. I guess weaned is the best way to put it.
Yeah, so they make it on their own. So that's good.
Yeah, because the way he described them, they're about the size of a bobcat. To me, of course, I wasn't there.
Yeah, it is big.
Except they had a long tail.
The cat was at 92 pounds. I think they weighed it.
I think they had some teefies on it now and some paws.
Big.
Wow.
There's a picture of it somewhere.
So, yeah, super good times.
Well, what else, Lannie? I asked this to Jess, but if you had one thing to a piece of advice to give to a potential elk hunter coming from this part of the world, what would you tell them?
If you can do it, use a guide services such as Grams. It's going to cost you a little more money, but your experience is going to be, I believe, that much. And that's coming from a guy who likes to do it myself. I really do. But this is kind of different. I mean, I think all of us have as outdoors. When you go to a place for the first time, you go ahead and book you a trip with somebody, kind of figure out what the lay of the land is.
Right.
And then you go in there and kind of get after it yourself. But it's so hard to get these tags, I guess is the best way to put it.
Right.
It's such a once in a lifetime thing. Increase your odds, save some money. It's not, I'm not going to say it's within everybody else's realm. We're very fortunate, obviously, what we do and the opportunities we have here. But you can get it done. So that, and to Jess's point, put some time in, get in shape. You don't want to be miserable out there, and you want to get the full experience of it.
Practice shooting long range. Yeah.
Practice shooting long, and go out there a day early. Mm-hmm. If you don't go, I've done this from mountaineering to everything else. You have to get acclimated, especially us sea level boys. You have to get acclimated. And for me, it's to get out there and spend one night sleeping, in activities. And then you're a lot more well prepared than you would be if you arrived that night and got up and ran up the mountain the next morning.
Plus, you get a day to practice shooting and see how your gun shoots at a different altitude. Because we were at 9,000 feet when I shot. So it's going to be a little different.
But you pulled the shot off there. I'm impressed.
That's the second clean shot Jess has ever had.
Yeah. Third.
Did y'all eat any good food out there?
Shoot.
Oh, it's good.
Shamee.
Yeah.
Clifford's wife, Shamee, she lays it down. That's good.
Food. Yeah. So you come in and you are, you're spent by the time you get in. So it's good to have some grub there. And they have the most impressive snack counter you've ever seen in your life. Well,
this
and one more thing. Sorry.
Yeah, go ahead.
This is the real deal. Real hunters, these guys, Joseph, I can't even explain it. They are, they're the real deal. So,
well, with all this publicity we're giving them, we may not even get to go back in the future.
Well, it's finite. There's just X amount of tags.
So,
true. Good point.
Both of these guys, Dudley, have had the once in a lifetime hunt, so they don't care.
Right.
I'm still going to put in.
I'm putting in again. And Colorado and everywhere else.
Yeah. Well, those are great stories. I'm glad y'all had a good time. And the whole, when you think about it is a once in a lifetime hunt to go out there and do something.
And we're supremely lucky to do what we do and to have access to this kind of stuff. So, and then we actually got to call it work too. So,
yeah,
we're spoiled.
It was cool.
Yeah.
Go out there and do it though.
Well, good. Those are good. Well, Jess, we appreciate you being here with us. We're going we'll keep the podcast moving. We've got the Ask Dudley segment coming up.
Oh, yeah.
We'd love for you to stay with us and get educated about Dudley.
I got some questions from Dudley.
I ate
We're out of peanuts.
A whole quart of boiled peanuts.
I wonder if the elk jerky's ready out there yet.
Oh, no.
It's smelling good.
It does smell good.
Professor Food Vandy's out there whooping up some elk jerky.
So why don't we move on? And that's, is there anything else you want to throw in about that? Anything? Why don't you, Clevin, you want to take a break? Yeah, let's take a break, pay some bills, and we come back. We'll do the Ask Dudley segment.
All right.
Hey folks, it's Jeff Foxworthy. When I was a kid, my dad bought back the farm that he had grown up on. And I absolutely love that place. I knew every square inch of it. It truly was my favorite place on earth. And when you're looking to find a favorite place for you and your family, Mossy Oak Properties can help. Visit mossyoakproperties.com to begin your search today.
All right, everybody, welcome back. And now it's time for, Cleveland, let's tee up the Ask Dudley question.
Here you come.
Once in a generation, a mind comes along, a mind that understands more than the average person, and is more than willing to share his knowledge. From trees to food plots to fertilizer, Dudley Phelps knows so much that he has forgotten more than he remembers. And now he gives you the chance to ask the burning questions in your mind. It's time for Ask Dudley.
I love that.
Hey, Dudley, this is Ben Spiller from over in Pickens County, Alabama. Hope you guys are doing well. Just wanted to shoot over a question for you. We are looking to clear cut quite a bit over on our family place here in the next 1 to 2 years. And I wanted to go in while after that clear cut and kind of set apart a few sanctuary areas where I can plant some, I guess, an orchard, so to speak. I was thinking somewhere from 3 to 5 acres in size, and even do 2 or 3 of them that way. So we have both ridges and bottoms. Just wanted to get your opinion on kind of size, location, and what to plant. I already thought about some Chickasaw plums in there, but just wanted to get your opinion on some other fruit or hard mass trees to go in there, and definitely appreciate it. Thanks, guys.
All right, Ben, that is a good question. Sanctuary, that word came on board, I don't know, 8 or 10 years ago.
Oh, man.
QDMer guys were talking about it.
Well, one of the most esteemed whitetail places back in the 90s was the Sanctuary, wasn't it?
Well, it was called the Sanctuary.
That
was the name. But the whole sanctuary concept is, where you set aside, 1 or 2 or 3, the biggest chunks you can on your land, and essentially never go in there.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe, obviously to retrieve game, but it's like a bedding area, that's holding all of your deer and wildlife on your place. They don't get messed with and feel comfortable. And Ben was asking about a sanctuary to put trees on. And so I don't know, I'm a little confused, but so what I want you to do, Ben, is create a really thick area, and maybe as your sanctuary. Think about thermals. Think about wind directions. You like you said, you've got some bottom ground. You've got some ridge ground. Think about your prevailing winds when you place these things, and your thermals. Where you're going to hunt in the morning, where you're going to hunt in the afternoon. So your sanctuary itself needs to be just thick cover. Maybe you go in and cut it back every 10 years. Maybe you leave it as a field, but let it stay in weeds and stuff, or switchgrass. Thick areas that you're not going to go into and bother the animals. And right on the edge of that, you can plant some trees. Whether you're not going to hunt it, or if you do decide to hunt it, make sure you go in when the time is right. And a couple of the species you mentioned, I think you said Chickasaw plum, that would be a good option. In your area, you've got a lot of oaks. Isn't Pickens County, aren't we really familiar
That's
with
where the Ponderosa is, isn't it?
Yeah.
No,
Oh.
it's not. But it's not far from it.
Right.
Okay.
So your regular crop of oaks is probably pretty substantial. So from, late October to mid to late November, you're probably good there on food. But think about a lot of early and late dropping stuff, and a lot of fruit trees, soft mass like persimmon, even black gum, mulberry, pears, Mexican plum. And for your hard mast, you may want to do some early stuff like chestnuts and sawtooths. And then your late stuff would be shoe-marred oak and nuttall oak. So, when your food plots get eaten to the ground, they're just starting to hit the shoe-marreds and nuttalls. And that's probably when your rut's kicking in too. So that'll really hold them on your place, and you can hunt on the edges of that, and it'll be a true sanctuary. I love that idea. Good question, Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
Dudley, these boiled peanuts that you have in front of you smell so good.
Well, why hadn't you eaten any of them?
Well, you hadn't offered one, and now I'm smelling them.
I brought a whole bag of them. Friend of mine planted and dug those.
I love boiled peanuts.
I've been wanting to do that myself. And then aren't the tops of peanuts pretty good deer forage? I know we've had people brought some.
Yeah, the deer love it's a legume. The deer love to eat
A legume.
Some places say that the deer don't, if they don't eat them, as like they do soybean leaves.
Right.
But other places where there's real high deer densities, they do. But when they invert the peanuts,
flip them.
Yes. Boy, you can fill up a field with deer. They
seem like they'd figure out to dig them up.
But there's some video of some inversion going on right there.
Some peanut inversion.
I think folks plant them for wildlife if you're in the proper area. But I mean, it's an ag crop. There's other options. straight up soybeans.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, the peanut thing got hot around here because they started growing them commercially, I think. I mean, there's a little pocket of, I guess, the right soil types here between here and Monroe County where they're planting them.
Got to be sandy.
Got to be sandy. Yeah, I guess you can get them up.
Kind of like Chufas, yeah.
Mm-hmm. So. Well, cool. Well, are you going to enlighten us today with some? Did you know?
Yeah,
what you got?
I have just a real short one, but it's kind of like a pet peeve with me. But you hear people talking about Canada geese. We all love Canada geese. They're a lot of fun to shoot, but oftentimes you hear people mislabel and call them Canadian geese, and they are not Canadian geese.
It's named after somebody's last name, right?
Well, no, that's a rumor, but there's
a rumor.
So you even okay?
Yeah, but so it doesn't matter how many there are. If there's 1,000 geese out there, they are Canada geese.
They're Canadas,
so not Canadian.
No, Canadians are hockey players.
Oh,
or there might be the Canadian River Hilton. But when you're talking about geese, they're all Canada geese.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah. And so it's just a little, and so every now and then you see people, call somebody out on it on social media. Hey,
somebody like yourself.
Well, I don't do it. My wife
you correct
gets
people
on to
a lot.
me about correcting people.
You only correct me.
So yes, I did correct you at every opportunity. But this is just a little education. It doesn't mean anything, but just so people get it right.
Now you know.
Thank you, Mr. Know-It-All.
Yeah, there you go. That is definitely a Mr. Know-It-All thing right there. We need to save that for Bobby.
All right. So, is there anything else we need to cover?
I think I need to apologize to Jess, for not, not embracing him on the end of the hunt there. I think I did get a little hyper focused.
2 or 3 weeks, we're gonna hunt together, man.
Yeah,
it's gonna be good.
I was pumped. I was.
Sorry,
he gets that way about stuff. I'm sure it hurt your feelings, Jess.
Well, since Riley's here, what about you, Jess? It was all about Riley.
He really said, "Hey, you can go, but just leave Riley."
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. Just kidding.
And then I also blame the fact that we didn't stop and see Jordan on Jess too. So
I'll take that one.
Yeah, no. But we've already officially apologized to him on air. So
yeah,
he's good, our buddy.
He's used to people doing that to him. Yeah. Oh, Jordan, he's a good one. Well, look. So, Jess? You got anything else?
No. Thank y'all for having me. It was cool.
So your hunt? When's your hunt going to be on Mossy Oak Go?
Hopefully in the next couple of weeks.
Does that depend on Riley?
Yeah.
Speaking of Riley,
I think Riley's at it. Maybe Ben. I'm not sure. But tonight we have Muscadine Bloodline.
Is it Sticks and Strings?
All Sticks and Strings live from the country, which is cool. And that'll be on Mossy Oak Go. So check that out.
I've been having a lot of fun with that.
Those guys are from Alabama. You're neck of the woods, Bobby.
Yeah.
So
might know where the Ponderosa is.
Some cool southern. I bet they do know where the Ponderosa is.
We've been doing that a lot during this virus. Is a lot of these musicians are doing their live shows and whatnot, and we do that a lot at night.
A lot of them are raising money for charity organizations, and it's all it's just our way of having something to do.
Well, you can tell by y'all starting
Thursday
that thing. The artists love it too.
There's some big artists on there.
Yeah,
Cobb, Craig.
I mean, come on.
Now
Whiskey Myers is on there, so check it out if you get a chance.
Now's the best time to support musicians and artists.
It really is.
Don't get a paycheck. Don't get a big paycheck.
Not many live things going on.
I think all the venues were closed down for the last however long, 6
for a while.
So that's on Mossy Oak Go or is it on Facebook?
You can get it on Facebook, YouTube. The live version, Sticks and Strings Live, is on Facebook, YouTube, and Mossy Oak Go app.
Yeah, okay.
Live every Thursday night.
That sounds like fun.
Mm-hmm. It's cool.
Well, Dudley, you got anything else?
No, I'm good.
Well, good.
Everybody be careful out there this weekend.
Yeah, and visit us at, y'all don't forget, you can go to mossyoak.com and then you can go to Gamekeepers or Biologic or Native Nurseries or Mossy Oak
Gamekeeper
Properties.
Butchery.
Yeah, a lot of cool stuff. So next week we hope to have another podcast for you if everything goes right and we hadn't put y'all to sleep. So we'll see y'all.
What you got, Dudley?
Yeah, Dudley.
Is it
mulberries, black cherries?
Oh yeah, we're gonna
fall fruit tree sale. $39.99,
$29.99,
$29.99,
boom,
$9.99 shipping.
Hey, these are some really cool trees too.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's get on. Why don't you go ahead and say what
get us on out of here, Cleve.
Thanks for tuning in to this week's episode of the Gamekeeper Podcast, and be sure to tune in again. Subscribe to Gamekeeper Farming for Wildlife magazine, and don't miss the Mossy Oak Properties Fistful of Dirt podcast with my good buddy, Ronnie Cuz Strickland.